Welcome to this retro content from Throwback Thursdays, whether it's from NoDQ.com, the Jeff Meacham Network, Casa D18 Studios itself, a Simple Man's brand, or the J. Hebert Studios, and anything to do with FTW Productions. This will be the content re-aired right here on Throwback Thursdays that you could expect to see on the Casa channel. I know watching back some of our old content, whether it's the open mic night intro where I'm laid on my bed, which I kind of cringe at, especially with this cool-ass setup now, or whether it's, just about anything to do with what we have done on FTW Productions, from a Simple Man's brand, from the J. Hebert Studios, to even some Insanity Works and Retro Wrestling Fortune 44 Incorporated stuff. There's some good stuff, there's some cringe stuff, and either way, I hope you guys enjoy that stuff coming up, and, even if you didn't enjoy it, I'll be along with you for the ride. Some of the stuff does not age well, like Jeff's content does. I know he has done a deep dive on his own content and cringed at his own self, but either way, I hope you enjoy it regardless. I know in some of these clips, I have a fondness to them. So with that being said, enjoy this Throwback Thursday, and until next time, we'll see you on the J. Hebert side.
Now, preview time. So let's take a look at what's coming your way.
Casa D18 Studios, an affiliate of the Jeff Meacham Network, Multiverse of Media, proudly presents this retro content from NoDQ.com.
Welcome everyone, this is episode, I believe, 15 of Talk Wrestling here on NoDQ and my MySpace and the YouTube page, and I'm joined by a guest this time, and not just any guest. I'm here with Mr. Every Nickname in the fucking book, pretty much every night of the week, Rob Van Dam.
Yeah, I appreciate that reminder that I can say whatever the fuck I want on your program.
You can, absolutely, you can. You can say anything you want. This is uncensored, just like your new show.
Very uncensored, unfiltered, candid, honest, open, genuine.
Just like you said 2 years ago, 3 years ago, there's no creative writers writing his stuff anymore. It's all from the heart. Just like this show, it's shoot from the hip, and
that way I'm in control of only saying what the fuck I want to say.
Exactly.
Nobody puts words in my mouth anymore.
That's good. Yay.
Or anything else in my mouth. Not that they ever did. But
Right.
I'm just saying that doesn't happen.
Well, we did
Still.
get rumors, but no, I'm just kidding.
Still isn't good.
Anyway, we have a lot of questions from you from our various fans around the world, and the first one is about the Raw 50th anniversary special that you made a one-night comeback against.
I don't remember that.
You don't remember that? Oh, okay.
No, I don't remember the 15-year anniversary.
Okay, well, do you remember coming out and facing Santino Marella in a squash?
Absolutely. What would they like to know about it?
They'd like to know what you thought about the reaction of it.
The reaction from the crowd, of course, was a very positive reaction. It was one that I hoped for, and I count on getting that reaction so I can feed off that energy, but I can never expect it. I can never know for sure this is how it's going to go off. So I'm ready to go through the curtains, WWE called me, wanted me to do this 15-year anniversary show. Win-win situation for me.
Absolutely.
They actually presented it to me like, well, the writers had this idea. I don't think you're probably going to want to do it, though. And that's because they know I don't want to travel. I don't want to go to the other side of the country. I'm trying to stay in L.A. But after hearing the whole story, I said, you know what? This could work. Could be good. Go out there. Be seen by everybody, get a lot of energy, give it back, of course, start the rumors flying, RVD's back. So I'm getting ready to go through the curtain, and I'm thinking, okay, I know that fans are going to be cheering for RVD. They always do. Of course, last I remember, Monday Night Raw was displaying all of the ECW wrestlers as heels. We were all portrayed as being bad guys because that was their ingenious efforts to kick off ECW, was to make us all hated by the Raw crowd, their most popular show. So that was in my mind. I went out there. It was so damn quick. I hit him with the frog splash. RVD. Everybody went nuts. I forgot it was a match. It was so quick, man.
Right.
I'm celebrating with the fans. I looked over, and Mike Kyoto, the referee's looking at me, getting ready to make the count. Like, Rob, are you going to cover him?
I remember that.
Shit, that's right.
Yeah, because you hit the splash, jumped up to the pose, and everybody's going, is he going to cover him? What is he doing? Oh, yeah, okay.
I forgot that it was an actual match. I'm thinking in my mind, I don't wrestle for these guys anymore, so it's like a run-in, which I thought it would be when they talked about it being a match. At first, I thought, wait a second. I was like, oh, what's the difference except for what I'm wearing? So I throw my knee pads on. I'll just go out there and do the same thing. But unfortunately, in my mind, it was still a run-in. But it was all good. It's all good. Got the 3 count.
It worked out. Yeah.
Another win for RVD.
Absolutely.
Fans are always surprised at my win-loss record on the way out. Even still winning them now that I'm already out. Not bad, huh?
Not at all. In the past interviews we've done with you on NoDQ.com and on your DVD itself, on One of a Kind, you mentioned that your favorite matches were with Jerry Lynn. Was he your favorite worker to work with, or was there somebody that you put above him now? Now we're looking at the twilight of your wrestling career, and you're moving on to the acting and doing your own show and everything. Can you look back and still say Jerry Lynn was my favorite opponent, or do you have?
As far yes. There's some elaboration on it because I don't give short answers, that.
Absolutely not, and we don't expect you to. Please.
I have had a match since then that would be considered my crowning moment. But when I wrestled Jerry Lynn, there was something special that never happened any other time. We both brought something out of each other. We brought it out of ourselves, and the spirit of competition that those matches produced was something that it was just unmatchable. It never. It couldn't be duplicated. If somebody was going to watch one match of mine, I would say, watch RVD versus Jerry Lynn. This is what I want you to see. This is an exhibition of my skills and talents, because that's what a pro wrestling match is. It's a showcasing of what you got. And me and Jerry would go out there. We would definitely show everything that we had. We'd come up with some things we didn't have, and we'd pull it all out. I had a match since then, ECW One Night Stand with John Cena, when I won the World Championship.
Yep.
And now I call that my crowning moment for a few reasons. Not just because I was crowned the WWE Champion, because that was never something that was a goal of mine. I never thought that would happen.
Right.
I knew that I'm a certain way. I'm very independent in such a way that I knew that I would be limited in WWE because of the way that I carry myself, the way I do business, my own personal integrity, everything that's involved. I know that to get up to the top in WWE, there's certain things that you do when you stick to the formula. Traditionally, you politic, you kiss ass. Eventually, after you can't get up any higher, you hold everybody else down. You cut their throats, you stab them in the back, you smooch the writers and tell them, this is why you should go with me, it's not that guy. I was never going to do any of that, so I was always fine with however high I would get on the card. That would be it. That would be RVD's destiny. It was about me connecting with my fans. Once I go through those curtains and the people are chanting RVD and they're expecting me to match up to the standards that I've helped them set for me, that's what it's all about at that point, So winning the world championship wasn't something that was necessary. It wasn't even a goal. It wasn't something that I planned on doing. The reason it was so cool for me was the way it went about, because as I said, traditionally through the WWE formula, that wouldn't have happened. What I did was I brought back the ECW, I brought back the extreme elements, the hardcore showcasing that was my best environment. That's what made me stood out. That's what gave me the advantage over every other wrestler, was being in the anything goes rules, which means that I can use my creativity, bring in a chair, and find creative ways to entertain the crowd, new moves, in and out of the ring, fighting in the crowd, whatever. Besides that, I brought back ECW on WWE's stage. That meant the whole world now could watch ECW, which it couldn't before. It was harder for them to see.
Exactly.
And they get to see me being seen the way that I want to be seen, the way I miss being seen, ECW style. So for all that to come together and have that one-of-a-kind crowd in Manhattan that totally was behind everything that I stood for, 1,000%, and at the same time, 1,000% against everything that John Cena stood for. That's why that crowd, was so devoted and committed towards me winning that match, for everything that was on the line, for all that it stood for. That was a crowning moment for sure. And of course, it puts RVD down in the pages of history.
Absolutely.
If I wasn't there already.
How was it for you to have Sonya there up in the balcony waiting for you to come up and celebrate with her? How cool was that for you personally?
It was way cool. She didn't know that I was going to come up there afterwards. She was totally surprised by that. And she misses ECW too. She's not a big wrestling fan. She didn't watch wrestling before I met her, which is great, and she appreciates my efforts and the work that I put into it. But when she's at the ECW show, she's having a good time,
Right,
it's great
exactly.
to see her having fun. And that was my moment, So when I had the World Championship belt, all the ECW wrestlers came out, to hug me and congratulate me. I wanted to go up there and celebrate with Sonya, and it was really cool that she was there, and it stood out in a lot of people's minds. People tell me that all the time, or they'll see her and say, "Hey, I remember you," and that's very important for me, because obviously Sonya is a huge part of my story. There's nothing else in my life that's more important to me than my wife and my relationship with her, and that's something that when given the proper time and the proper place to talk about it, that's one of the things that I have a lot of experience in, that I can help other people in. Sonya and I have been together 12 years this month.
Wow.
Yeah, and everywhere we go, we still hear from people all the time, are you guys newlyweds? How long have you been married? And that's awesome. Our relationship is like magical. That's something, one of the many things I think I can help a lot of people with. I have a lot of skills outside of just kicking people and doing backflips in the ring. That's why I'm taking a break from that. And I'm exercising a lot of other interests and exploring a lot of other things inside here, and enjoying other things in my life and in the world. And a lot of this part of my path has to do with reaching out to people and inspiring people and motivating people, whether it's with spiritual awareness or positive energy or relationships. I mean, that's something that I'm definitely qualified to talk about.
Absolutely. So 12 years, you guys got together right around the same time you debuted in ECW, man, 1996, early 1996.
It was close. I actually started with ECW prior to meeting Sonya. I remember that, but it wasn't long. In my mind, I kind of think of her and going to ECW, and now this hardcore crowd, and the loud rock music and all that. I kind of, in my mind, remember all that as being, like a big turning point in my life. Yeah.
Cool, very cool. Well, we mentioned John Cena earlier. There's a question from one of the fans here. His name is Drew. He wants to know, is John Cena worth all the hype that's laid upon him?
You know, who am I to say, really? Because,
Yes.
Wow. That was Jade, everybody. There's Jade's answer. She loves John Cena. You know, it was funny. We didn't like him at first, and then, you know, we saw him in The Marine, that movie, and for some reason, we grew to like him. I don't know what it was, but the performance in that movie is like, you know what? He's not that bad an actor, and his skills have gotten better. He's still doing the same old shit a lot, but he's doing a lot more new stuff, too. So, you know, it seems to me that he may not be worth as much hype as everybody thinks he is, but he is definitely worth something to Vince and to WWE. Otherwise,
no doubt,
he wouldn't be in the spot he's in.
He is the front man of, you know, WWE, and that's his position. You know, I've always liked John, you know, and what he stands for, just like that ECW crowd at One Night Stand knew. They knew that what I stood for, you know, was anti-tradition, anti-WWE. You know, what I stood for was thinking outside the box, for making wrestling something that's enjoyable and cool, even with the hippest crowds that aren't even wrestling fans. That's what ECW was for me, and that's how I felt when I was in there in the ring. I'm doing things that when people are watching it, they're not going, I could do that. No, I could do that. Hell no. People watch my ECW matches like, oh my God, that would kill me. And they know there's no way they would survive one of my matches, because I'm out there to show that and to prove that and to give that every single time. And that's what ECW is about. Now, with WWE, which John Cena is a perfect representation of, it's totally different. You know, it always has been. The guys that Vince McMahon has gotten behind for his number one guy to be the symbol of WWE or WWF. It's always been a wrestler character that he created. Always has been, right? Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock, you know, back to the Hulkster. It always, I mean, that's the way it is. And John Cena fits into that. He's young, you know, in great shape, and Vince loves him, obviously. You know, I mean, look at last year. I mean, John Cena had more endorsements than probably any other pro wrestler I can remember.
In a long time, anyway, yeah.
I see him everywhere. I see him at Bally's, a cardboard cutout saying, join Bally's, you know, and you see him doing the Subway commercial, and you see him just everywhere, you know. And he's wrestling, and he's got his, I think, his hip-hop CD or whatever he did, you know, and his movies and stuff. He's doing great, and for what his job is, representing the WWE, he's obviously great for that, and Vince obviously is totally behind him and enjoys putting him out there to people to say, this is what WWE is. To put RVD out there and say this is what WWE is, I would never expect that. And quite honestly, I don't even think I would really necessarily appreciate that, because I like standing out, being individual, being one of a kind, and I would feel more complimented if I was told this is what WWE should be or could be or something like that, you know.
When you were on top of the WWE, when you were WWE and ECW champion, did you still feel that you were taking the backseat to Cena during that whole reign? Because, I mean, for the 3 weeks you were champion before the arrest and the drug bust and everything like that, you were on top of the world. You were holding both titles, the WWE title and the ECW title. You were main eventing pay-per-views at one point. And did you still feel like Cena was still, as far as in Vince's eyes and WWE's eyes, just that step above you, or did you feel like you were giving the ball?
Well, first off, there was never any doubt to myself, to Paul Heyman, to Tommy Dreamer, to any of the guys that were really on top of this movement and paying attention. There was never any doubt that Vince was always going to see his WWE boys as being closer to him, more important to him, and a step above ECW. The whole time since ECW came out as a third brand, it was always held down. It was always put on the back burner. There's always less put into it. When Paul and I were on an overseas trip before Paul left, on a nightly basis, we'd get together in the hotel room and just like pull our hair out at everything that happened that night to try to reduce the amount of impact that ECW could have. Here we were in Italy and England, and we had a chance, you know, to be overseas to show these people, you know, yeah, we brought ECW back. Here's this different product that we have. We want to show you what it's about. And they did everything they could to hold it back. Everything from even just from having tiny little letters or no mention whatsoever that ECW was on the card, to positioning on the card, to even like before the first ECW match, they'd make sure some SmackDown guys came out and fought with a chair all over outside the ring and everything without a count out. They did so many little things that maybe would go over people's heads that aren't paying attention, but it would drive us nuts, insane. We'd be so frustrated because we knew what ECW could be as an alternative, something different, and they were so not doing that, and it was so obvious that a lot of the agents resented ECW, a lot of the boys resented ECW. Get with the program. Vince bought it. It's now WWE's, get behind it. Let's make some money with it and quit trying to bury it. I mean, did they really bring it back just to kill it, just because it stood for anti-WWE back then? Because that's horrible business.
Yeah, because it seems like now that the ECW brand, the ECW show is nothing more than just that, a third brand of WWE programming.
And if you had to rate them, 1 through 3, ECW is definitely on everybody's list going to be like number 3, right? Nobody's going to say, well, I think that's the better of the 3 shows. No. How could they even think that? What they started doing when I was there was sending some of the top superstars from Raw or SmackDown to compete on ECW, thinking they're drawing more attention to it, and all they did was water the product down even more than it was, make it more confusing. Wait, who's in ECW? Am I in ECW? I didn't even know after a while, Yeah. I was in my own world. I didn't feel like more attention is being put on Cena, this or that, whatever. When ECW was there, when it first came out, and when I had the championship title, the spotlight was on me, and it was up to me to get people to pay attention. Nothing else mattered to me, really. I mean, that was the last time that it was really fun for me.
How far into the re-debut of ECW did you decide after my contract's up? That's it.
Well, it wasn't long into it, that I was contemplating that. I was burnt out. I wasn't enjoying traveling whatsoever. I loathe traveling. I still do. Getting on an airplane every day, renting a car, driving to some town I don't want to be in, thinking of how nice and sunny it is in California when I'm in Minnesota to do a backflip and a spin kick for the same crowd that I felt like I've already been here and done that like 40 times already. And honestly, it became meaningless for me, which is why I needed to get away. I was burnt out. I don't want to tear apart wrestling and insult wrestling fans. They're one and the same. My fans are wrestling fans, so I'll never do that. But for me, I needed to get away. Wrestling wasn't cutting it for me. I wasn't excited about it. I wasn't interested in it, and eventually I wasn't even having fun with it anymore. I wanted to be somewhere else. It was the week of WrestleMania that I made up my mind 100% for sure. And I was on the fence about it, like I'd go back and forth. Gosh, I know I don't want to commit and re-sign and be thrown back into a prison sentence for another 2, 3, however many years, because that's what it's like. Slam that door behind me. I just signed the contract. You put the rest of your life off until you're done with the contract. Right. It's not like you really get to see your home and your family and all that. You don't. Not when you're on top selling tickets and when you're someone that they're using it and that they have interest in. So it was actually WrestleMania weekend that I was doing a lot of soul searching. I had been involved with studying spiritual awareness and growing my inner connection for like about 2 years at that point. It was actually probably since our last interview that I really got into it. I've always been considered a spiritual kind of person, but the last few years I've really invested a lot of time into growing my understanding and my connection and my path. And that is what ultimately told me, do not resign. I mean, everything was laid out so clear for me. I was in my hotel room and I was studying this journal that I'd been writing all these coincidences in, like for the last 6 months to a year, whatever. I'd never gone back and read it. And I read this thing in a certain way to read it backwards to see if things were falling into place or if I was willing them by my frequency that I was vibrating at, which is the law of attraction. I don't know if you've heard about The Secret. I'm a firm believer in the book and the DVD, The Secret. It's a big part of my life too. It helped change my perspective. I highly recommend it. It's not for everybody, but for someone like me and my like-minded brothers that I've also used that to help out, it totally brought us into enlightenment. And anyway, WrestleMania week, I had my answers so clear. It was like my journal was talking to me. I understood everything so clear. I was covered with goosebumps, and I kept calling Sandman's hotel room and bothering the shit out of him. He's trying to sleep. All right, I'll let you sleep this time, dude. I just had to share that with you. I'd hang up, and I'd be looking through, and I found a list that I wrote a year ago of what my own personal preoccupations are. In other words, distractions from the big picture, things that I invest too much energy into that keep me off of looking at where my path is supposed to be,
Right.
And I was looking at that, and it was just like so clear, and it just made, and it all coordinated and made so much sense. I was just blown away. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe that. I call him back, Sandman, I know I said I'd let you sleep, but dude, I gotta share this with you. And I would tell him, because he understood, because I got him spiritually aware. Sean Stasiak is one of my spiritual brothers. I have another one in Massachusetts, and like throughout the day we text each other messages or email just to check on people's energy. Hulk Hogan is a new spiritual brother of mine too.
Really?
Sometimes just for spiritual energy, just send like a little message, he'll send one, I'll send one, whatever, how's everything going? It's a great fucking day to be alive, isn't it, brother? Hell yeah, what are you grateful for? I'm grateful for health, my family, this weather. What are you grateful for? Okay, great. Put us in that attitude of gratitude, which is really where you have to be to have your energy up, and in order to actually see what's there for you, the guidelines and bumpers of your path. It's all a study, but it's something that obviously, I'm deep into, and I find commonalities with a lot of my other friends, and I've been able to help a lot of them through my own experience as well. And when I told him that, and I said it's not going to work because the ECW fans, they want to support the original ECW, you know what he says to me? Rob, it's going to work because I'm going to make it work. And I chose to hold on to my own faith and my own discipline, and I made it happen, and I think anybody else can too. When it comes time to looking at wrestling schools, nobody's got a better setup than Booker T in Houston, Texas. The PWA is the shit.
And now, preview time. So let's take a look at what's coming your way.
The Casa D18 Studios, an affiliate of the Jeff Meacham Network, Multiverse of Media, proudly presents this retro content from the Casa D18 Studios.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Renegade of Wrestling. I am your host, JJ Williams, here to bring you my thoughts on the week's worth of wrestling. Not a whole lot of news to talk about this week in pro wrestling. Over on Monday Night Raw, we had the Cole... What's that say? Oh, yeah, Michael Cole getting knighted. I'm sorry, got to work off a script a little bit here because Raw was just that shitty this week. Michael Cole got knighted by the Queen of England, one of the worst acting queens I think I've ever seen in my life. So Sir Michael Cole. Anyways, Raw also saw R-Truth turn heel in what is probably the worst heel turn I think I've ever seen in my life. Dude turns heel by bumming a smoke off of somebody in the crowd and smoking. Seriously, Truth, you couldn't come up with anything better than that. I guess, considering the gay rights groups that WWE is now in tight with, at least he didn't go on TV calling it a fag, since that is what it's known as in England. It's not a derogatory term, it's slang for a cigarette. But I just know that, the groups would have got all over him for doing that. Over on Tough Enough, we saw Michelle, one of my people I was rooting for since I met her a couple years back over at Pro Wrestling Guerrilla. Her and her husband Johnny Fairplay came, sat in the crowd, chatted it up with everybody. She quit. I was sad to see her go, but her reasoning, to get home to her baby, I totally understand that being a dad. Check out Dads on Wrestling on the episode this Thursday. Being a father, I understand where she's coming from. She missed her kid, she missed her husband. I kind of got on the guy from The Ultimate Fighter last week for doing the same thing and called him a pussy and everything, but that was still like the first episode. Talking about, I'm here and then just quitting and being a bitch. She actually toughed it out for about a month and was like, you know what, I need to get out of here. This isn't working for me. So, Michelle, hopefully the business will see you back soon. Take care. And then Michael, however you want to pronounce it, that freaking fruit booty got sent home. He was probably the biggest douche on Tough Enough. Looks like he's going to be on the next season of Tool Academy from what I'm reading on the internet. Definitely would be fit for that type of program. Over on SmackDown, we had brand new tag team champions. The Kane and the Big Show upset the Core, Heath Slater and Justin Gabriel. I don't really know if you could call it an upset since they've been tag champs before. But, Slater and Gabriel had a real good thing going, man. I think it kind of sucks that they dropped the straps out of nowhere to Big Show and Kane. And that we also had Lay Cool breaking up. And to whoever it was that made that awesome video that I posted on Facebook, the Lay Cool rise and fall to Sarah McLachlan's When She Loved Me from Toy Story 2. Well put together. That is probably the saddest song ever. And I was cracking up the entire video because of the clips they chose to make that with. Superb. Superb. Now, live and direct from Las Vegas, Nevada. Just touched down from the Cauliflower Alley Club. I want to bring in the lady killer, Ray Larkin, to help me talk about the Rated R Superstar Edge's retirement party.
Thanks for having me, Renegade. I just came back from beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada, and let me tell you something. I sat next amongst legends. I'm talking Rowdy Piper. I'm talking the Honky Tonk Man. I'm talking about Uncle Bob, a.k.a. Sergeant Slaughter. That's what Rowdy Piper calls him, so he's Uncle Bob to all of us now, you know, all the members. Awesome, man. And like I said, Honky Tonk Man was there. Ricky the Dragon Steamboat.
Oh, you mean Honky Tonk actually showed up when he was supposed to?
Yeah, he showed up on time.
Because, you know, he was supposed to be at the Comic-Con last year, and he decided to no-show one day because nobody wanted to come and see who he was.
Well, you know, he was in that faction DOA, Drunk on Arrival. So
I guess Scott Hall's the leader of that?
Scott Hall was the leader.
There you go, okay. we all know Stone Cold's a card-carrying member.
Exactly. And you know what? I got a lot, you know, Stone Cold the Rattlesnake. You know, for one straight-up year, brother, I used to lay next to a rattlesnake. My first wife. So. But anyways, what were we talking? Oh, Edge's retirement party.
We apologize for the shaky camera work here. You know, I mean, we get the cameraman cracking up, and just sometimes you can't control it. Edge's retirement party.
Oh, Edge's retirement party. First of all, I'm gonna just bullet through. Can I just bullet through the whole?
Go right ahead, man.
First of all,
because you probably remember it better than I did. I was half falling asleep during SmackDown.
Let me tell you something. We always have our disagreements. Here's one of them. I think WWE's better than ever, as good as it was 10 years ago. I challenge Jeff Meacham to pull a SmackDown spoiler, or Stat Boy if you're out there watching. Pull a whole episode of SmackDown, and we'll compare it to the SmackDown of today, and we will see what was better back then.
I'm right here. What do you want?
Oh, there you are. Take that lotion out of your hand. Take that and go pull up SmackDown, whatever today's date is, to 2001. Okay. And we'll pull 2011, and we'll see which one was better. Okay. Just the basic next week's SmackDown and the SmackDown from same time, around the same time.
Check that out. Okay. Next week on the Renegade of Wrestling, we're gonna see.
You got it.
But anyways.
Okay. R-Truth smoking a cigarette. What the hell's wrong with that? What the hell's wrong with
WWE is supposed to be a PG company, man. Somebody smoking a cigarette on TV isn't exactly.
Did The Rock and Austin not just come and like step on that PG-13 rating?
Hey, but you know what? I've been hearing that. Still trying to be a PG company. Everything that's been released, you know, you should know this as a stockholder, a shareholder. Yeah. WWE is still releasing that. WWE is a PG company, and we do not condone what happened.
Have you seen stock prices lately? I've been putting covers over my head every morning at 7 a.m.
I saw stock prices when they were having that 85% off blowout sale that, you know, I purchased this shirt on, this Bret Hart shirt.
Shameless plug,
I got
baby,
this Hart Dynasty hat for free. You know. Stock prices were going through the roof then, but as soon as that sale ended,
as soon as they
stock price was, you know, I could get like 5 stocks for $1 now.
Exactly. As soon as they stop pushing,
TNA stock is worth more right now than WWE stock.
Oh man! As soon as they stop pushing Zack Ryder, all hell broke loose. That's all I gotta say.
Hey, all I gotta say is yes, you know, you should know by now we filmed this on Monday before Raw, so I don't know what's happening right now on Raw with the draft and everything. Yeah. But I hope Zack Ryder gets picked off of Superstars and goes to one of the big time, man. Go to the big time, Zack. Woo, woo, woo. You know it.
No. You know what? Shout out to Zack Ryder. Okay, tough enough. Eric Watts. I mean, I had so much big hopes for this guy, this gentle giant man who, you know, who's really as a human being, his personal life situation, it gets to my heart. However, as a WWE fan, as a mark, as whatever you like to call me out there, especially that guy who always hates on me, man. You can hate me now. Fuck you can hate me now. But I won't stop now. I hate you too. Okay, anyways, that guy, you know what? You don't come to a show called Tough Enough. You can't even run up a mountain. You can't run up a hill. You can't run the ropes. You can't do anything. Man, I don't know, maybe it's the fro that's not making him aerodynamic. I don't know what the hell it is. You know what I mean?
Get a cornrow up.
Maybe he needs the cornrows, maybe he needs the R-Truth it up a bit, take
get the braids going, get the braids going so the wind can run through the braids.
Exactly. #1 contender shot, and just lose it to John Morris. That's what he needs to do, I'm telling you. That's what we need to do. Okay, the rest of them sucked. Okay, now let's go on to SmackDown. SmackDown, what did we have on SmackDown? We had...
real quickly, while we're on the subject of R-Truth, man. Assuming that nothing major happened tonight, I need CM Punk needs to come and save R-Truth, man. He needs to help him with the straight edge.
He does, but I also think he needs to turn face.
What are you doing, cameraman? We don't smoke around here. Get that crap out of here.
Straight edge, man.
We're straight edge.
Did you see episode like 7?
We are one, we are one, we will stand together.
Don't you know we're straight edge, man? Come on, yeah. This is in the
Anyway, SmackDown.
Okay, exactly. SmackDown, we got an appearance of Lita, the lovely Lita. Now, let me just tell you.
She wasn't quite looking like that, though.
A lot's changed. You know, a lot of trips through Krispy Kreme, a lot of trips through McDonald's and all that. It just hurt that. And I was just...
You know what? In all seriousness, we know that wasn't Lita, but I'm glad that Brodus Clay's girlfriend could get a spot on the show. Seriously.
I was hoping for a live sex act. When she came out, I thought it was just going to be some BBW love between Edge and Big Lita.
That boy is hurling into the bathroom now.
Okay, and Big Lita. But you know what? I think it's time for Christian to get pushed. I think it's time.
It's been time for Christian to get pushed.
I know.
Captain Charisma needs to show what he did when he was the NWA World Heavyweight Champion over in that other company that no one seems to recognize. You know.
What do you mean?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know.
That company where Jeff Hardy can go have a ladder match and snort lines of coke as he's coming out.
Lockdown. Yeah, Lockdown. Yeah, Lockdown. Yeah.
He still ain't gotten locked down, but go figure. Kurt Angle gets busted, and within like a month he gets sentenced.
Yeah.
Jeff Hardy got busted like almost 2 years ago, and they still haven't sentenced that guy to his freaking jail time. What the hell?
And John Morrison's always going to be on Chris Benoit's doctor list. That's just the way it goes sometimes.
Wow.
I said his name. John Morrison. So, in closing, this is being censored. In closing, I can't believe that Edge is gone. I love the farewell tour shirt. It's just, oh man, we're going to do a tribute show. You promised me.
Yes.
You promised me a tribute show.
Look for a tribute show in the coming weeks here on Renegade of Wrestling. Maybe on Dad's. We haven't quite decided which one we're going to do that on yet, because I know Jeff's probably got some stuff he wants to say, some memories of Edge. The next couple of weeks, maybe right around after Extreme Rules happens, we'll do an Edge tribute show. Promise.
That works. Okay, so like I said, Del Rio, I just don't know if they're just going to give him the bill. I'm the biggest Del Rio mark at this point between all of
I don't think that the SmackDown pool can fit Del Rio personally. I'm hoping he gets drafted to Raw.
I'm hoping he stays on SmackDown and becomes the World Heavyweight Champion. Even though I know it's too fast, too soon, but geez, the corporate call said he was the next Cena.
There you go.
But I guess you guys already knew that. All the haters out there, you already know that.
Well, I think that just about wraps up this episode this week.
Having me.
As always, Lady Killer, pleasure having you. Just a quick shout out there. Make sure you guys check out this week's episode of Dads on Wrestling, where myself and Jeff are going to be going over our thoughts on the draft. Everyone that got traded, I don't know if they're going to do a supplemental this year.
God, no.
But everything that goes down, me and Jeff are going to be giving our honest opinion, uncut, uncensored, just like we always do. So make sure you tune in on Thursday for that. I'm the Renegade of Wrestling.
And that's the bottom line, because the Lady Killer said so.
See you next week.
And now, preview time. So let's take a look at what's coming your way.
can never take away the power of my soul.
Scan the QR codes to see what's upcoming for FTW Productions and what's available on demand right now. Button Master Stable Wars entire playlist. AEW Revolution Go Home Week, Dynamite and Rampage watch parties. Mistress Audio dramatic readings featuring voice actors from Weymouth Youth Wrestling. All Retro Wrestling Review Series videos on demand and upcoming. All WrestleMania themed retros available now on demand. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order Let's Play Series. WrestleMania 19 Revenge Mode Let's Play Series. All of A Simple Man's Brand Simply Predicting panels. Both episodes of The Don DeMarco Show. AEW Spark, WWE Aftershock, every show week by week. Indy Force Episode 26, available now on demand. Jeff Meacham Network, Backlash and Rebellion Watch-Along events. FTW Productions Watch Party for WrestleMania Go Home Raw. A Simple Take, WWE Simple Takes featuring Casa D18 Studios. Super Mario Bros. Z voice acting. Episode 3 coming soon. Breaking news. ATW View Impromptu. WYW Intro and Immortal Stream. Wrestling with Idiocy Episode 7. Our favorite WrestleMania matches. Plugs have concluded. On to the video.
The Casa D18 Studios, an affiliate of the Jeff Meacham Network, Multiverse of Media, proudly presents this retro content from the Casa D18 Studios.
Shall we begin? Let's begin now.
Welcome, YouTube fans, to this edition of Double Down with Double A. As always, I am your host, Double A, with a very special guest this week. Somebody that needs almost absolutely no introduction, Mr. Meach, Ginger Rage, whatever you want to call him.
Ginger Mahal, as he's called in the house, because my son can't say Ginger Mahal for some reason, but that's okay. I am Jeff Meacham, and I have been invited here for a very cool top 10 that you presented to us. And since Jade's kind of giving him a whole top 10 all-time concept, I figured I'd jump in the Double Down with Double A Kool-Aid here and see what we can come up with.
Okay, this is our top 10 promo guys in wrestling history. You know,
mic workers. You know.
Yeah, mic workers.
Yeah, exactly.
I have a few honorable mentions on here. Not all of them are wrestlers. Some of them are managers. Because guess what? That's what they got paid to do. When a wrestler couldn't talk for shit, you know, they got the people. You know, they got their manager to go out there and sell the tickets for them.
Bring them in. That's right.
I'm gonna catch some heat on this one. I mean, love them or hate them, they're all on there for a reason. Number 10 on my list is the Ultimate Warrior. Yes, none of his promos meant shit,
or made sense.
Made sense, By the end of the day, all your little warriors out there turn into Hulkamaniacs and all that. But at the end of the day, they didn't make any fucking sense. But it's epic. For some reason, it's like, okay, I have to watch next week because he's talking crazy again.
Now, let me ask you, is Jimmy Snuck on your list in that same tone?
No.
Okay, because Jimmy Snuck's promos made no sense. He went out there and talked a blue streak. You know what the fuck he said when he was done? I tell you, brother, I'm going to come out there tonight, and I don't know what the fuck I'm saying, man, but this Superfly is gonna fly.
But for some reason, Warrior's craziness fit his gimmick. He was a crazy nutcase.
As it turns out, he really is insane.
Number 9 I have on my list. Love him or hate him, the cerebral assassin himself, Triple H. Main reason is, I mean, all these people I got, they know how to work the fans right into their hands. Where they play a heel, whether they play a face, they know how to draw the fans to, keep them entertained.
Hunter's definitely a master at that.
Oh, yeah. Number 8, Stone Cold Steve Austin, the Texas Rattlesnake. I got him on there, main reason only. Years after he retired, people still do his chant.
Yes.
What? You still hear it. He's not on the fucking show no more. You hear it on other shows as well sometimes. Number 7, the Weasel, Bobby the Brain Heenan. Love him or hate him, he had a way to get people to want to go buy a ticket to see whoever's representing the Heenan family get their asses kicked, Or it's the Weasel himself get his ass kicked or stuffed in a weasel suit at the end of the day.
Yep, absolutely.
Number 6, the Mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart.
What do you think of Jimmy as a... Because Jimmy seems more like a squealer than he is a promo guy. He's very, very, very quick and not... Maybe in the early Memphis days. But not so much the Mouth of the South that we knew in the WWF and WCW. More so. But again, it's so. He had
a way to, play the fans right into his hands. Whether he wanted people to love him or hate him, he had a way to do it. Mm-hmm. Number 5, especially when he was doing a shoot interview, James E. Cornette.
Ah, yes.
Oh my God! When WWF was, had to give him his own little stick, every now and then called Cornette's Corner, where he'd just come out there and just rip on everything that's what's wrong with wrestling today.
Yep.
He had people just applauding. I mean, he's supposed to be a heel. He had people applauding. You had the commentators like, "Amen, James E. Cornette," for saying that.
Except Vince didn't like him very much.
Yeah, because he was most of the times he's shooting on Vince.
Yeah.
Number 4, don't shoot me, YouTube fans. John Cena. He has a way to work the crowd right into his hands. At the end of the day, people are going to say, you know what, I'm going to watch Raw next week just based off of what he just said.
After this last week's Raw, absolutely.
Yeah. Next, I got Y2J.
There you go. I like.
All hail the Ayatollah of rock and roller. Babyface, heel, tweener, no matter who he is, at the end of the day, he knew how to sell tickets. He knew how to get people to tune in on Raw. He knew how to get the pay-per-view buy rate up. Hell, when he made his return earlier this year, he played the crowd right into his hands without having to say a gosh darn word. For what, a month?
Almost.
Up until Rumble, almost, you know.
Right up until the Rumble, pretty much, yeah.
Number 2, CM Punk. You know.
He's more of a recent addition to my list, but he's not on my list for the record, but he's definitely honorable mention on my list.
Yeah, I got CM Punk on there because, like I said, love him or hate him, he knows how to work the crowd into his hands. I didn't really like the Savior CM Punk, I'm better than you stick that he was doing, but he knew how to get the fans to hate him. He knows how to get the fans to love him. At the end of the day, everybody wanted to see last year's,
Money in the Bank.
Money in the Bank, based off of that pipe bomb they dropped in Las Vegas, which you were present for. Number 1, I know I'm going to catch some heat off of you for this one.
For me? Okay.
Yeah, The Rock. He's actually on it? Oh, wow. Rock, he still has it. You know, he can go out there and run the first segment of Raw just doing a promo, and people are just going to stay tuned in. I was there the night he made his return last year on Valentine's Day, and for a half an hour straight, there was not one person sitting down. Everybody was on their feet. Had people on the edge of their seat waiting for him to come out.
It would seem that Mr. Williams has his appearances noted, documented. Well, he knows where to go because he was there with you, and Valentine's Day is with me in Vegas for Punk's thing. Jay just seems to know.
Yeah.
There you go.
A few honorable mentions I have on here. Mainly mention them because I was thinking about them. I just didn't know how to work them into my list somewhere. I got HBK on here. I got Bret the Hitman Hart. Paul Heyman as a promoter, and when he was Paulie Dangerously in WCW,
yeah.
He knew how to work those crowd. He knew how to work the crowd.
Yep.
I love him. And Vincent McMahon when he's not in character. When he's just being straight up Vince coming out talking to the fans.
Alright. Alright. I'm going to go through mine really quickly here. I'll mention a thing or two here and there because a lot of what you said definitely kind of resonated with me. Number 10, I actually had DiBiase on here, but I changed it when I heard you say Bobby the Brain Heenan. Bobby, as a commentator, as a manager, as a worker, whatever, he could, as you said, take a crowd and wrap around his finger with just a few words. One head turn, weasel chant, and Arnold said it best. That was it, man. It was it. Number 9, a particular era of Cactus Jack. I'm talking the ECW Mick Foley. Cactus Jack, those interviews he cut in that dingy little basement of the ECW headquarters, if you will. Those interviews he cut in 95, they're on the ECW's, they're on the Mick Foley DVD for a reason. These are epic. I'm telling you right now. Number 8, you mentioned him, Chris Jericho. Jericho has been great as both babyface and heel. I prefer the heel Jericho more, to be honest with you. I do like the goofy Chris Jericho, the Ayatollah of rock and roll, the one that picked on Stephanie with the boobies hit the floor and all that. But the heel Jericho has just been so good the last 3-4 years. Unbelievable. Number 7, any combination of the group you want to throw in there. 4 Horsemen. Any combination, particularly the Hall of Famers that are going in this year. You've got, Arn and Tully who could talk a blue streak. Barry's right up there, and you got Nate, of course. J.J. Dillon up there, right up there with him. All those 5 guys together can make an interview just go crazy. The original Horsemen are really good, though. Even Ole is as old and grumpy as he is. you know, he could still make you think you were going to get your ass kicked. Let's see, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. There we go. Number 6, The Rock. I don't like Dwayne. I made that very clear on my shows, but I can't take away from his promo skills. Dwayne can definitely talk a blue streak. Dwayne will go out there and electrify the dozens. Number 5, Triple H. You kind of touched on Triple H briefly. I kind of chimed in there with you. Triple H is called the cerebral assassin, not just because of his ability to think out the trash can falling down, to think out the way to take out his opponent, but also the way to cut him down verbally, and that's what I admire about Hunter. Number 4, Stone Cold Steve Austin. You know, besides the what's, which were granted a freaking gold mine for merchandise and a gold mine for promos to cut people down, his stuff when he was first catching on and when he was first really starting to touch, you know, to hit ground and really go in the late 90s was just unbelievable. The way that he could just take the crowd in. Number 3, Hulk Hogan. Hollywood Hogan, either incarnation. You know, Hollywood Hogan could make a crowd just, you know, want to make him throw trash at you with the snap of a finger pretty much. The Red and Yellow Hulk could, you know, take you in and just, you know, make you believe that he was going to save the day one more time.
That's the only... I hate to cut you off there, Jeff.
That's okay.
The only reason why I did not choose the Hulk Hogan's or the Macho Man's is for Hulk Hogan, to me, they all sound the same. Well, you know, maintain, you know, what you're going to do. And Macho Man, I'm the hour of power, too sweet to be sour, you know.
Well, the problem with the Macho Man is that much like Jimmy Snuka, much like the Ultimate Warrior, you never know what the fuck he was gonna say.
Oh, yeah, you are right with there, brother.
But you knew he was gonna say something profound, if you understand where I'm coming from.
All right.
Jesus.
That's right. Number 2, Nature Boy Ric Flair. What can you say about Ric Flair's interviews with David Crockett, with Tony Schiavone, with, you know, Gordon Solie, with any of them out there in the old NWA Championship, you know, the wrestling TV, any of them? Oh my God. Ric Flair is the second greatest interview of all time because number 1 will make Teresa very, very happy. Roddy Piper. Piper could make you at the same time want to jump through your TV screen and beat him senseless and make you, at the same time, sit back and go, you know, the Piper guy talks a lot of sense. Hulk Hogan is this. Mr. T is that. That little Haiti kid guy does do this. Andre the Giant is this. You know, and then when he turned babyface and after WrestleMania 2 and WrestleMania 3, it was like, oh, yay, we can root for him. It's awesome. You know, Piper is very much a polarizing personality. You can love him, you can hate him, but you will definitely come away from a Piper's Pit or from an interview and go,
I completely forgot about Piper, too. Sorry, Rod.
Roddy Piper, number 1 on anybody's list except AA, apparently. And that's okay. There you have it, kids.
What did y'all think? Fill up our comic boxes. Please, no trolls. I can't stand you guys.
The trolls will come, my friend, and you know what? You have to do what the Fruity Pebble Man says. Rise above the hate.
I want to embrace the hate, though.
But you can't with these guys. You can't do it.
Tell us who are your favorite promo guys. You know, tell us about your favorite promos of all time.
And why. Give us why. Don't say, my favorite's this. End of comment.
Yeah, of course. It's been a pleasure having you on the show,
yes, sir. Yes, Double J.
Can I throw 3 names out there since you're asking for comments?
Go, sure.
It's kind of be stupid for me to comment on our own videos.
Yeah, kind of, you know. Yeah.
Go ahead.
There's 3 names that y'all didn't mention that I think should get thrown out there, honorable mention spots, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Nick Bockwinkel.
At times.
Without the Nick Bockwinkel educated promo, Jericho would not be where he is today.
True.
Jake the Snake Roberts.
Damn, I forgot about him.
One of the very few guys who could cut a promo without raising his voice and start yelling at you, and you still would fear him.
Mm-hmm.
And the man who I've always said I'd love to see Jake the Snake have a promo off with, Raven.
Oh, shit.
Forgot about Raven.
Sorry.
Nevermore.
Sorry, guys.
All right. Well, Jay's got his, Aaron's got his, I've got mine. Who are yours?
Yeah. Feel free to leave your questions and comments and all that. Until next time, I'm Double A, and the man that needs no introduction whatsoever.
Or exit, for that matter.
We are outro.
Let's begin now. Let's begin now.
And now, preview time. So let's take a look at what's coming your way.
Casa D18 Studios, an affiliate of the Jeff Meacham Network Multiverse of Media, proudly presents this retro content from A Simple Man's Brand.
Well, I tell you, there is no rest when it comes to what happens in professional wrestling. Am I right, folks? And yeah, it looks like this virtual background stuff isn't going to work, so I might turn this up. But anyway, hello, everybody. Welcome once again to another impromptu but simple ATW view. I, of course, am the simple man, Noah Foster, representing my family, ATW, who's out doing all their own things. We don't necessarily, have all the same agendas. As again, we're just international family professional wrestling fans, the then, the now, and forever, the indifferent, you name it. That being said, I'm just going to give you some brief thoughts that has happened this past week in all things wrestling, as we also look at what's ahead for this week in all things wrestling. So I do hope that you enjoy the conversation, and as I try and get my room in order, hold on, let me try and put the camera. I tell you, cameras aren't as well as they used to be. Let's go ahead and just have a brief chit chat, shall we? So let's go ahead and look back at last week. Last week, of course, we have all the standard stuff, but the major thing that definitely was the turning point for me last week was, of course, AEW. AEW Dynamite, of course, there was their go-home show, and they knocked it out of the park as we have pretty much a pay-per-view level setup of a show and an all-elite week of professional wrestling this week. As, of course, this week will be their Grand Slam Dynamite event from Upper Ash Stadium. But also it was learned that AEW Rampage will also be Rampage Grand Slam, 2 hours. 4 hours of AEW live professional wrestling madness. Just call it that. Simple as that. In other news, before I talk about this card and everything, last week we also had the start of the G1 Climax 31, where the topic here is Max Max. I'm not sure what Max Max means, unless it's really about maxing what you think is potentially the maximum of your capabilities, but I digress. That being said, the G1 Climax had an incredible start this past weekend with 2 days of incredible action, where we've already had shockers. Last year's winner losing his opener to Kota Ibushi, Lorraine to make a return, and of course, Tomoyoshi, always the G1 MVP, gave us an absolute near to a draw classic with Shingo Takagi. Do you have your winners picked? What is your thoughts on G1 so far? Love to hear your thoughts. Let me know in the comments down below. We also have Victory Road this week that was showcased with all the championship going line except for the Knockouts Championship. But of course, we already know what's to come maybe before that as we get closer to Bound for Glory. That being said, Victory Road was a great show, a lot of great variety, a lot of great professional wrestling and competition. Very surprised about the impromptu 5-way that I think really was the way to maybe pick, I don't know, the next number one contender for the X Division title. Speaking of the X Division title, Josh Alexander once again proved, and in my opinion, I think exemplified why he is maybe the greatest X Division champion of all time, as Josh Alexander was successful in retaining his X Division championship against Chris Sabin, of course, via the C4 spike pile driver in the very end. But what really got me going was afterwards, it was Chris Sabin maybe wishing some words of wisdom or maybe some advice to the walking weapon. And while, of course, we don't necessarily hear it, something tells me I knew where this was going. And it really showed out in the main event. And I gotta say this right now. Inevitable is a general term that is not about necessarily what, it is when. But when does not have a predetermined date. This was proven here when Ace Austin pulled all the tricks out of the book, including the ace up his sleeve, literally. Paper cuts aside, the near fold and impromptu near falls galore alone. It was Christian Cage once again proved outworking and outsmarting everyone in this case, as Madman Folda did come into play here countless times. That Christian Cage was able to successfully retain the Impact World Championship via spear kill switch combination. But afterwards, before we go off the air, Josh Alexander comes out. We've seen the subtle face-to-faces with the X Division champion and the Impact World champion to a degree. It really came ahead here as he came into the ring, looked at that belt, he looked at Christian Cage, held up the X Division title, and simply said 2 words. Option C. There you have it. It's finally happening. Josh Alexander will now try to ascend Impact Wrestling and the X Division, what it stands for, by cashing in option C, thus vacating the X Division Championship and going after now the Impact Heavyweight Championship. So our main event for Bound for Glory is set. It will be Christian Cage defending the Impact Heavyweight Championship against the walking weapon Josh Alexander. When I think about Christian Cage and basically the proverb he stands for about outworking everyone, there's one person that could potentially outwork him. I feel like it is Christian Cage. I gotta be honest. And I am really, really looking forward to this match. Wrestling galore all throughout the place. The NWA continues to redefine themselves. Camille attacking Melina. I was shocked by that. And things continue to move in the tag team division. And by any means necessary will be, of course, the next special in October, as literally Nick Aldis and Trevor Murdoch shared a humility stand with one another in the name of Harley Race and the NWA 10 pounds of gold. So I'm very curious what awaits there. Will we get Nick Aldis versus Trevor Murdoch for the title? Or will maybe the man that's already challenging him for it, Jack Stain, after he gets past maybe Crimson, also did this title Trevor Murdoch? Things are really being redefined in the NWA. By the way, the hot mess is there. Eesh. Everyone, good luck and watch out. But I digress. We also, of course, had a GCW event this past weekend as Minoru Suzuki, he took on, of course, Jonathan Gresham in an absolute technical classic. If you have a chance, I highly suggest you go watch it. Also, we learned that Minoru Suzuki will be taking on Nick freaking Gage. So I'm going to read off these men their last rites because I'm not sure who's the more dangerous one here or who necessarily is going to be, I don't know, the more lethal and violent towards the other, but yeesh. That's all I got to say about that. So that covers like the minimum things in all things wrestling. New Japan also New Japan Strong on Saturday night with live audiences. Very good show. Will Ospreay will now defend his title against Carl Fredericks in Texas. Tomoyoshi, of course, took on Alex Coughlin. But let's go ahead and talk about the other stuff. So first off, let's go ahead and look at the big W. They continue to be what they are, sports entertainment. But at least NXT UK gives us a closest form of professional wrestling. I really enjoyed this week's show where, of course, the NXT UK Tag Team Championships defended by Pretty Deadly was against the Gallus Boys and Joe and Mark Coffey. Very good competitive title bout, very close near fall exchanges. But unfortunately, it was spilled milk and the tag team tenacity of Pretty Deadly that got the win in the end, and just Joe Coffey's luck continues to just fall short. As the age of the Zaw was finally ushered in, we now know who potentially challenged him for the NXT UK Championship. It will either be A-Kid, the inaugural Heritage Cup winner, Rampage Brown winning that best of 3 against Joe Coffey, or it will be Nathan Frazier, who may have fell out of the Heritage Cup, but he is a young, youthful up-and-comer that is taking the opportunity where it lies. So we have a triple threat number one contenders match next week. Things keep moving around and getting very intense in the women's division as well, as Lily McKenzie defends the honor of Michael Satomura again in succession, successfully beating at the very game Stevie Turner, who was brought back down to this reality. But it seems that NXT UK might have a bigger problem on their hands with the top Genjin, as Blair Davenport once again came out and made a statement attacking Stevie Turner while she's suspended. She simply says, reinstate me, or more of the people you like are going to end up this way. So since Skyline and Johnny State's got a tough decision on their hands. Talk about Battle of the Tricksters 2 with the Heritage Cup going on, as the scum of the earth, Kenny Williams, took on, of course, Supernova 11 Noam Da. And literally these guys put out every trick between each other, whether it was pull the tides, dirty heelers tactics, the water ball even coming into play, some roll up, some very damaging focus on each other's legs. But saw Samuels underneath the ring, gave Nolan Dar the moment he needed around 5 to hit the Nova Rolla and move forward. We have one half of our final set for the Heritage Cup. He now waits if he's going to face either Thielman or Wolfgang. Very interesting match coming up the following week. While Isla Dawn continues her Dark Ritual now attacking something of the fashionista. I'm not exactly sure where that's going. And Symbiosis, they fell short to the impromptu trio of Ashton Smith and Oliver Carter and the wild Saxton Huxley. So a very good show. It always is so much delivered in these hour shows, whether I talk about AEW, NXT UK, NWA, you name it. So let's go ahead now and talk about the big boys in the room. We'll start with the controversial one. NXT officially ushered in the new era, NXT 2.0. I hate the color scheme. Bobby Roode once said it best. Not my NXT. If this is what WWE fans want, as far as they want maybe more WWE Sports Entertainment Classic type content, where you're getting like something similar to maybe what Raw was 2 hours, this is the closest thing you're going to get to it, because it ended with a wedding. But I'll say this, that wedding was not a car crash. It was humorous. And overall, it was the kind of entertainment I would expect from WWE that sort of, brings what the fans want, if you're, that type of person. The fact they had literally Dexter Lumis say his first 2 words being "I do," though. Okay, nerd. But I do love the fact that Tommaso Ciampa is once again united with Goldie and is the new NXT champion, and it is the current Triple H title, though someone tells me that might not last too long. LA Knight falling 2 losses in a row, though, and Kyle O'Reilly mysteriously taken out. I don't know. I can imagine why people in NXT are literally, walking across gracefully like there's a minefield. Apparently it's a skeleton crew that's working in NXT as well. So I wish all the best for everybody in NXT. Mandy Rose, new look, new attitude. Hey, maybe she'll be a more serious wrestler. We'll have to wait and see. Now, let's go ahead and talk about the fun stuff, shall we? I already talked about lightly the G1 Climax, and yes, I will continue to cover that this week, as of course we have action coming up Thursday morning and Friday morning. But before that, we got to talk about All Elite Wrestling. So All Elite Wrestling went big in their go home last week, setting up Offer Ash Stadium's Grand Slam show. And I will now bring forward to you that very card. I still can't believe half this stuff is happening. We are going to see the dream match between Kenny Omega and Bryan Danielson, Cody Rhodes and Malachi Black with new hostilities, and we wonder, will they be done with each other this time? CM Punk will give a live interview 48 hours before his first TV match in 7 years against Powerful Hobbs that was said he was on commentary. There's a reason why that commentary table is not used in AEW, folks. That table is not gimmick. Ouch. MJF has made it extremely personal, botch, attacking the name and family pride of one Brian Pillman Jr., literally casting down the Pillman name and his mother, too. Talk about a dark side brought to light. And I'm sure Brian Pillman is going to look to extinguish this venom from that at Offer Ash Stadium. We also, of course, will have FTR take on Sting and Darby Allin after Shawn Spears and the Pinnacle and Tully Blanchard try to take the very identity of Sting and Darby Allin, wiping away what makes them themselves. Incredible grudge match, though, and continued great in-ring psychology by the chairman, Shawn Spears, whenever he is in wrestling. And, of course, we also have Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, taking on Ruby. So it's a very catchy song, by the way. If y'all haven't listened to her post-scrum conversation from All Out and why she's here and why she's happy to be here and what she hopes to do here, seriously, go listen to it. And Talk is Jericho. Cheap plugs. I respect those. So we have a very full pay-per-view level show this week. They truly went, no pun intended, all out. It's almost like a mini All Out 2 to a degree. And ironically, that's just Wednesday night. As again, as I said at the very beginning, we also will have Friday night a 2-hour Rampage special, including but not limited to what you see at the following. After the bunny, yay Allie, was freaking schoolgirled by Anna Jay. Penelope Ford got a 1-up and literally knocked both Anna Jay and Ty Conti out. So now Anna Jay, the Queen, will try to continue her single momentum, taking on the super bad girl, Penelope Ford. I don't expect the bunny or Ty Conti to be very far away either. In an epic clash after their successful title defense, the risk of Penta's mask against Butcher and the Blade, the successful Lucha Brothers take it to the Hardy family office in 8-man action, potentially maybe tagging with their next challengers. People say this is long overdue, as Proud and Profits and Tanner Ortiz tag with the Lucha Brothers with Alex Cabajantes to take on with Matt Hardy and the Bunny in their corner, Butcher and the Blade and Private Party. In a lights-out match after the wild angle and the disrespect in the Suzuki incident that I saw live in Cincinnati where they cut off his feet for the Casa D18, it now will be John Moxley and Kingston taking on the Suzuki Gun Army as Lance and Suzuki come back together as a tag team in a lights-out match. Violence will be showcased, folks. Stay tuned. And again, after 7 years, CM Punk takes on his first TV match with Powerhouse Will Hobbs and Hook in his corner. And I would not count out Hook one day going after CM Punk. He did an effective Dragon Sleeper shades to Skull End by Sonata. Kid's definitely got some potential. After Dan Lambert once again chastised the wrestling universe and AEW and literally had the Men of the Year with him and all these great, incredible athletes of America's Top Team, including Paige Sagat, it has now been made official as Chris Jericho called out who's on top. That was a hilarious segment. And another MMA guy himself who's undefeated. He and Jake Hager will now take on the Man of the Year, and Dan Lambert will be in their corner. Again, Dan Lambert is one of those guys that just has a punchable face. It wouldn't surprise me if Jericho tries to Jews affect him, but I'm looking forward to this tag match as well. And the Super Click is back as Adam Cole, baby, after an incredible ring debut of Frank Kazarian last week, will now team up again with the Young Bucks to take on the trio of Christian Cage and Jurassic Express. After he basically talked about that the Super Elite is the strongest faction in all of AEW, in all of pro wrestling. We're going to put that to the test and see if the boys rolling together again can get it done. And it would not surprise me if more is added, but that is everything known up to this point. And I got to say, this week alone, Wednesday and Friday, is enough of a reason to be excited as a professional wrestling fan. But in case that wasn't enough for you, towards what AEW is to the professional wrestling industry, doing their own thing, reviving that excitement, that love, that passion, that respect for professional wrestling, it became known today that AEW has officially partnered with the Owen Hart Foundation in honor of the world-renowned, forever immortalized and remembered Owen Hart. As you can see here, they will also be doing a tournament called the Owen Hart Cup Tournament, a collaboration that will be an annual special here, where the winner will receive a cup known as the Owen. And also we will have production and distribution of goods, and also there will be coronation as well, being part of the new AEW console video game. It says a lot when you really think about that the very first day this company came into existence, it was Bret Hart and Hart that literally presented the AEW World Championship. And considering the connection that Bret and Chris Jericho have all the way back to professional wrestling roots and the respect that they have for Owen Hart and Tony Khan being a true wrestling fan, I think this is something truly wonderful that goes beyond the words you just saw in that screenshot. And when I think about the spirit of Owen Hart and who can take this cup, there are so many names in AEW I can think of that exemplify that I think could really take this thing. You got that guy that's all about himself, but backs him up in the ring with how good he is, MJF. You got the in-ring technician styling of somebody like Sean Spears. You got that relentless, never say die tenacity about Darby Allin. And then you have that standout that people might not really think about at first, but you see him go and he just takes your breath away because he's so damn good and he's got so much potential in the likes of Jungle Boy. And these were just a few names that I was just spawning around and so much more. As of course, the wrestling community was brought to humility at the word of this news. So again, congratulations to AEW pulling this off. As we come up tonight's AEW Dark Elevation, I must say I'm very impressed with Masha Slamovich and what she brought forward against Karl Shida. And whether you like QT or not, he is a wrestler that is a good wrestler, as he and Dustin finally come ahead in the battle of the Natural Nightmares that truly showed how personal this felt. And in the end, the Natural won with the final reckoning, but also leaving one lasting mark on QT's area with the unnatural kick. Ouch, man. But I digress. That being said, this has just been a simple ATW impromptu, giving you a brief outlook on all things wrestling. So what has been exciting you lately? What are you most pondering about? What are you still questioning? Are you a fan of any of this? Have you known or checked out or even tried to be a fan of any of this? Are you a fan of pro wrestling? Are you new, old, return, lapsed? What has brought your insight maybe to just this simple video and the simple YouTube channel? I'd like to hear your thoughts, connect with you down below. And again, folks, if you want to know more about me, know this. I'm just a simple man and a lifelong fan of wrestling, not just Bush Entertainment. So again, if you want to connect with me more, if you want to even collab, maybe talk wrestling with me, and shout out to Jeff Meacham Network, go follow his recap following Monday Night Raw tonight. Follow me on Twitter, keep following me here on YouTube, or follow me on Instagram at Foster1916. It's all the same. As always, I'd like to close. There are no winners, there are no losers, there are no betters. They're just fans with opinions for this passion we all share. At the end of the day, folks, respect one another and support each other, and just enjoy life and enjoy wrestling. You don't necessarily have to like the same thing as another person, but you don't have to chastise them in the way they like it too. Don't be a troll. Don't be an idiot. Don't be a bully. Don't be a walking PR propaganda nonsense machine that's all about yourself. Be humble. Bring a positive insight to professional wrestling. Be you. Be true. Simple as that. With that being said, thank you so much for tuning in to this simple ATW view on all things wrestling. Please like, subscribe, comment, tell a friend. Hit the bell notice videos live on this channel, whether recorded or on demand. Hit the subscribe button. Keep growing this. Help me keep growing. And shout out to all 260 of you that's been with me on this fun YouTube creation journey. It's not landing anytime soon. For the entire ATW family, you'll find their tags in the link down below. I thank you all for tuning in. And until the next video, stay safe. Be positive, not COVID positive. Support my friends at NoDQ, the Jeff Meacham Network, the Greg Cherry Brand, Cindy G, Teddy Turnbuckle, my ATW family, FTW, the list goes on and on. All the teams of wrestling started by Mark the Griff Reviews and so much more. And I'll see you next time for something in all things wrestling.
And now, preview time. So let's take a look at what's coming your way.
Scan the QR codes to see what's upcoming for FTW Productions and what's available on demand right now. Button Master Stable Wars entire playlist. AEW Revolution Go Home Week, Dynamite and Rampage watch parties. Mistress Audio dramatic readings featuring voice actors from Weymouth Youth Wrestling. All Retro Wrestling Review Series videos on demand and upcoming. All WrestleMania themed retros available now on demand. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order Let's Play series. WrestleMania 19 Revenge Mode Let's Play series. All of A Simple Man's Brand Simply Predicting panels. Both episodes of The Don DeMarco Show. AEW Spark, WWE Aftershock, every show week by week. Indy Force Episode 26, available now on demand. Jeff Meacham Network, Backlash and Rebellion Watch-Along events. FTW Productions Watch Party for WrestleMania Go Home Raw. A Simple Take, WWE Simple Takes featuring Casa D18 Studios. Super Mario Bros. Z voice acting, Episode 3 coming soon. Breaking news, ATW View Impromptu. WYW Intro and Immortal Stream. Wrestling with Idiocy Episode 7, our favorite WrestleMania matches. Plugs have concluded. On to the video.
The Casa D18 Studios, an affiliate of the Jeff Meacham Network, Multiverse of Media, proudly presents this retro content from the Casa D18 Studios.
Yes, I just threw a quick shout out to Zack Ryder. Ha ha ha. You're not the only internet champion around here, broski. Besides, I wanted to show off my belt. And I didn't pay $1,500 for a wrestling internet championship. I paid $300 for mine. And it's autographed. And it's, of course, as is everything on my show, Statboy approved. This is Statboy Rants, episode 13. Or no, episode 14 actually. 13 was before, see? Episode 14 of Statboy Rants. And this is the prediction show for Vengeance. So, we're going to start off with a couple matches that were announced on SmackDown. One being Sheamus versus Christian. This is Christian's one more match. One more match. Or in Espanol, un partido más. Un partido más. And really, I don't care. I don't care. This will probably be the curtain jerker between these two. And like I say, I'm gonna pick Sheamus in this one because, you know, it'll probably give him a push towards the world title run that he should go for right about now, I think. So, you know, Sheamus, good job. It's going to be a nice a good big fight, and
as far as the finish goes, it's like, I think Christian's going to get a little bit too greedy. He's going to try and spear Sheamus from corner to corner and then corner to corner, and then spear him on the outside and spear him off the ring ropes and spear him off the stage, and then on the back and he's going to try another spear. I'm going to be so speared out. It's just going to be spear, 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 spear. Where's Edge? Too many spears. So, and hopefully this whole little thing between them will die, and that's the end of it. Also announced on SmackDown, Dolph Ziggler is going to put up his title, his U.S. title, against Zack Ryder. Dolph has had the U.S. Championship for 124 days. Good, nice little run, 4 months. Hey, Zack, this is your chance. You've pinned Dolph a couple times. Now let's do it one more time for the title. I may poke fun at you with your internet show, Long Island IZ, Z True Hollywood Story. But in all seriousness, Zack, I want to see you win the title. Therefore, my pick officially, Zack Ryder becomes the new U.S. champion. Also, we have Air Boom with Kofi and Evan Bourne against Dolph and Jack Swagger. Now, there are 2 ways this could go. One, Dolph and Jack could win the tag team titles, and then immediately after that match, depending on where it goes in the card, he could immediately go straight into his U.S. title match and then lose it. That's one scenario. And we could even say, hey, maybe Swagger will cost him the belt. They may gain the tag team belts, and for that small little period in between matches, he'll be a double champion. That's a good possibility, but my official pick is going to be Air Boom retains. Air Boom has had the belts 60 days. They can keep going for maybe another 30, I think. Keep their run going. But it's a good little scenario. You never know how the writers are with WWE there. The Divas title is up for grabs again. Beth Phoenix versus Eve. Beth has held the belt for 19 days, so I want to see Beth hold onto the belt because I don't really think Eve deserves it. And honestly, I'm sick and tired of all the same 4 divas over the past 3 months, however long it's been. Like I said, Beth versus Kelly, Natalya versus Kelly, Beth and Natalya versus Kelly and Eve, Eve versus Natalya and Beth in a handicap match, Beth and Natalya versus Kelly in a handicap match. Put them all in a fatal 4-way. Put them in an evening gown match. Put them in a bra and panties match. Hell, throw them all in a hotel room with an 8-ball and a bottle of Jack and watch them kill each other. I don't know. Have a makeup match. Who can make the craziest makeup? Have them do their hair at 2 o'clock in the morning while saying, you know what, Eve, you're kind of hot. Please, let the storyline die. I mean, we bring back in the Bellas. Oh, wait, they're too busy with John Laurinaitis. They're too busy with that, so they can't wrestle anymore. So, and AJ and whatever, yeah, like they're Divas champions. If this keeps going, I'm going to eventually say, forget the Divas altogether, retire the title, because I'm sick and tired of all these girls going crazy. And apparently on SmackDown, Beth had a wardrobe malfunction or whatever. I don't. So she's royally pissed off. Check out her Twitter. We have Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton. That's going to be a good match. And honestly, I'm going out on a limb. I want Cody to win this match. It'd be a great push for Cody. He's had the IC title about as long as Dolph, if not longer. He'll probably go through Survivor Series. He'll have a defense coming up soon. You have to defend the title every 30 days or whatever. But if they put him on a Survivor Series team, he can probably go past that, have another 30 days as champ, have a good, really long run. So, give Cody the win and give him the push. Not towards the world title, though, or maybe, no. Cody is as world champion, not yet. Give him another 6 months or so. then he'll do it. Alberto Del Rio versus John Cena in a last man standing match. Del Rio's only held the belt 19 days, and as much as I like Cena, my pick is Alberto Del Rio. You know, I want to see him hold on the belt for a little bit. He just got it. And honestly, I want to see him and Punk go in a title feud, because I've said it a couple months. I think I've said it for at least a couple episodes or at least a couple months. I want to see Punk as champion, and I want to see him have a legitimate title run. None of this, I'm going to win the belt and run away. I'm going to win the belt and share it with Cena. I'm going to win the belt and lose it to Money in the Bank. No. No. So, and Cena just needs a break. We need to give Cena a break, so then The Rock can come back and we can have The Rock for 3 months. Cena can finally rest, and then Cena will come back and start the push for WrestleMania. You know, give Cena a nice little holiday break so he can spend time with his family and his loved ones, because that's what you're supposed to do for the holidays, just like the troops, because the troops are supposed to come home too. The tag team match of CM Punk and Triple H against The Miz and R-Truth. Can Punk and Triple H coexist as a team? I think they can. I think I'm going to actually go with Miz and Truth on this one. Let the whole Laurinaitis conspiracy issue come into play, and you know, it's bad enough Laurinaitis doesn't want Punk to be champion. Maybe he doesn't want Triple H to win a match. You know, keep that little storyline going. And then, of course, then you can bring in Punk with the title as well. So, yeah. Punk and... it'll be a good match. It better be a good, brutal match. It would be nicer if it was like a tornado or you know, no holds barred or something like that. But I'm going to go with Miz and Truth on that one, because they just officially came back and all that. And then Mark Henry and Big Show. Mark Henry has had the belt for 33 days. That's not long enough as well. So I'm going to pick Mark Henry in this one. Even though Mark Henry did knock out Ricardo, Alberto, and Mark, or Big Show knocked them all out. And my problem with that was, I think the sound of the was edited in, because I mean, obviously you're going to have a little bit of contact, or the sound of contact, but it was amplified. I mean, you can just go like that. You can't hear anything. You know, of course, Big Show's fist is bigger than mine, but you know, and I seriously doubt that just because he has a big fist and you go like that, you're going to hear. If it was an open slap, of course you could hear it 6 rows up, but that's what's kind of got me a little bit mixed up on that one. So, Vengeance is this Sunday. We're going to be at Del Rio Lanes in Downey. Come on out. I did have my first guest, or my first, hey, you're a stat boy, I really like that. Come on out. Give props to me and the Renegade and Jeff Meacham. We're all going to be out there having a good time. Buy us a drink. You know, I might politely turn it down because I'm battling a nasty little bug, but I'm still going to drink anyway. And let me just finish off by quickly saying my prayers and thoughts go out to the family of Dan Weldon, who tragically died last week during his race. You know, he was a good a good race driver. You know, it was very sad how it happened. I wanted to touch on it on the last episode, but I actually went a little bit over. So you know, racing is a very dangerous sport, and when you're going 200 miles an hour where an inch turns into a big explosion, you know, sad day at that. So Dan Weldon, thank you for all you've done in the world of racing. As far as episode 14. We're pretty much done. Again, the shirts are coming out next week, hopefully. And I'll go over pricing and how you can get those. Coming up, episode 15 is going to be the Fallout from Vengeance and maybe a Raw review. Send me your comments so I can do some more rants. And then later on, we're probably gonna do another list show. We recently watched the 50 Oh My God moments, so we'll probably do a show on that. And believe me, it's gonna be it's worth it. It's a good DVD. I'll just say that much. As far as for me, and the champion of the Renegades channel. Only in fan base, not in ratings, because let's face it, the dads have more episodes than me. Jeff Meacham has a bigger following than me, but I've got a nice little positive fan base, so I'm that champion right now. Zach, I hope you win, and I want to be Broski of the Week, so make me your Broski of the Week. Otherwise, I'm going to buy your shirt, buy your bandana, and I'm just going to continue on the shout-outs. Remember, imitation is the most sincerest form of flattery. I'm not doing this to knock Zack Ryder. I'm doing it to make him laugh and hopefully send out stuff to him. Alright? Snapboy is out.
And now, preview time. So let's take a look at what's coming your way.
The Casa D18 Studios, an affiliate of the Jeff Meacham Network, Multiverse of Media, proudly presents this retro content from the Casa D18 Studios.
episode of Dad's on Wrestling, episode number 14. The WrestleMania predictions is brought to you by none other than the Long Beach Clothing Company, located at 4218 Atlantic Avenue in Long Beach, California. Go there for all your clothing needs. Starts now.
Yeah. And don't just do it because the anonymous voiceovers said to. Do it because Mr. TW, 18,000 subscribers from Santa Clarita, is repping the LBC. Do it because Mr. Talk Wrestling himself told you to do it. Okay?
You know, I haven't said it yet.
They've got great deals. They've got shirts for $5.62.
There you go.
You know why? Because we're in the 562. Yes. It's really that simple, folks.
All right. Welcome to Dad's on Wrestling.
Yes. Now that we've got the shameless plug out of the way.
That's right. Renegade of Wrestling, JJ Williams, Mr. TW, Jeff Meacham, and our special guest, third opinion for the WrestleMania predictions,
Double A, Aaron Austin. He came to play.
Not to be confused with a double Austin Aries.
Or double A Arn
cool
Anderson.
guy.
Yeah, or Double A Arn Anderson, you know.
Excuse me.
So, today, ladies and gentlemen, we're here. We are less than 24 hours from WrestleMania 27. And we're going to give you our thoughts on the card. First up, The Miz, the awesome one, against John Cena. And the reason we're doing this one first is because of the involvement that The Rock has been teased to have in this.
I smell what he's cooking, and it smells like a satellite camera.
Seriously.
No, I'm kidding. He'll be there. He'll be there.
No.
He'll be there.
It smells like a shitty Fast and the Furious sequel.
Oh.
Ooh. Ouch.
Oh.
Damn.
I'd walk off. I'm in the middle here. I can't do nothing.
Yeah, just doing a ball face on that one.
There you go. Right, there you go. There you go. There you go. Extreme close-up of Aaron's back there. Very good there, fat boy cameraman. All right.
That's right, man, because the Long Beach Clothing Company.
That's right. Long Beach Clothing Company's even sponsoring the cameraman today.
That's right.
Gotta love it. You know, here, wait. Let's there we go. Oh, yeah.
Long Beach for life.
Long Beach for life. There you go.
Making his gratuitous WrestleMania prediction appearance.
There we go. Okay,
anyway, The Miz and John Cena.
It's a Blair Witch project up in this bitch. Anyway, shit.
The Miz and John Cena. Now,
I said this on Talk. I'll go ahead and jump first.
Okay.
I said this on Talk Wrestling. I want so badly for The Miz to be the WWE champion still after WrestleMania, but we have to live in the world of reality. And Miz has been champion since November, which he is currently the longest reigning champion in the company.
Yes, and he's undefeated at WrestleMania.
He's undefeated at WrestleMania. He's 1-0. He did lose the dark match, but we don't count dark matches up in this bitch. And he won last year with
just
the
like
Big Show.
Benoit, they don't exist.
That's right. Dark matches count for the people in the crowd only, and let's face it, 70,000 people don't count.
Yeah, no.
So how many people were
Especially Houston people. I mean,
seriously.
Damn. What has Texas ever given us other than 2 bushes in the White House? Seriously.
Dallas Cowboys.
Shawn Michaels.
Shawn Michaels.
Okay. Shawn Michaels.
Undertaker.
Okay,
Stone Cold Steve Austin.
You know what? You made your point. Okay, so Texas is good when it comes to wrestling.
Okay, there we go. Okay. Yeah. All right. So, but I honestly can't see them extending the Miz's reign past WrestleMania, especially when he's going up against
unless The Rock costs Cena the title.
Well,
thereby setting up a potential Rock Cena match, hopefully at SummerSlam in Los Angeles, aka Hollywood, California.
Which would be awesome.
Which I've got tickets for.
We'd be there. We'd be there.
Actually, you just to kind of piggyback on that. Up until Monday, I'm actually going to say this, and it scares me.
Okay.
I actually wanted to see and actually thought The Miz was going to win this match. Yes, I said it. But this is that's really going to scare me. But it's going to be in a good way. John Cena, I actually want to see him win it. Know why? No, before you walk away, I'll tell you why. Because this is going to give us the dream that we've been praying for the past 6 fucking years. A heel turn. Somewhere, I don't know if it's going to be a repeat of WrestleMania 13 where with Stone Cold and Bret the Hitman Hart where they switch roles. I don't know if it's going to happen like that, but we may see the infamous heel turn.
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
But I still say Cena's going to win. That's just my opinion.
I got to go with Cena, too, unless The Rock screws him.
Right.
I didn't think The Miz would escape the chamber with the belt. He proved me wrong there.
He did.
I didn't even pick Randy a few years back when he defended the title against Trips and Cena.
And he won, so...
And he ended up winning that one, so...
Anything's possible.
Anything is possible in the WWE!
Which brings us to...
Edge and Alberto Del Rio.
A Mexican aristocrat who used to be in a mask and was a legend there, Dos Caras Jr., challenging the Rated R Superstar for the World Heavyweight Championship. I feel that this Destiny talk is completely 100% true. He's going to walk out of... Where are they at? Atlanta.
Yeah.
With the, I forgot whether they're not awful. With the World Heavyweight Championship.
I am not an Alberto Del Rio fan.
I'm not either.
But if Alberto Del Rio does not walk out of WrestleMania with the title, then they've wasted the past 6, 7, 8 months, however long he's been in the company, building him up. Yep. Because everything they have done up to this point should be cultivated with him taking the strap at WrestleMania.
You got to figure, Edge has had one-on-one title match at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And he lost it to The Undertaker.
Don't forget his hardcore match against Mick Foley.
Title match, I said.
Oh, okay.
Title match.
That's true.
He did, but yes, he did own it. Well, actually, they kind of owned each other in that. Yeah. That was horrifically brutal. It was beautiful at the same time. So yeah, I go with Alberto. JJ's got Alberto. What do you think over there?
I want to see Edge, but I gotta go with Alberto Doritos myself.
Alberto's Doritos Crunchy.
That's it. Then you
now
have,
available in Cool Ranch.
Ooh.
Crunch all you want.
Then you've got the only other title match on the card so far. Sheamus against Bryan Danielson.
Bryan Danielson, yay!
No slave names here, bitches.
That's right.
Bryan Danielson.
I finally got JJ on that.
The American Dragon. Somebody posted on Twitter the other day something that I just totally jumped behind and retweeted.
What's that?
Wouldn't it be epic if Vince ponied up the cash for Bryan to come out to "It's the final countdown" at WrestleMania?
But he won't.
We can dream.
Right.
You know what? We'll mute our television.
There you go.
And we'll play it ourselves when he starts to come out.
That works for me.
That works.
That works for me. I like that. And plus, it's a bonus not having to listen to the announcers when he comes out either.
Exactly. Well, hopefully
BJR.
Michael Cole will be so incapacitated at that point, and in a hospital somewhere in Atlanta.
Like they're going to put Michael Cole after Bryan Danielson. Come on now.
Got to pick up the mood somehow.
I know.
I just noticed, in this match you have a ginger facing a ginger.
Yeah.
That's true. You do. Ginger pride. Word up, bitches. I have no muscle.
I got to go for Bryan Danielson.
Yes, definitely.
I think the whole purpose of them taking the strap off him in the first place is so that he can gain a WrestleMania moment by regaining the strap from Sheamus.
Yep.
I agree.
All right.
I mean,
the match that will probably be the main event,
even though I feel it shouldn't be, because what's the point of winning the Royal Rumble if you don't get the main event spot?
Yes. Undertaker versus Triple H, no holds barred. Monday's twist in the story was very telling for me personally.
Yes.
Because Triple H flat out told Shawn Michaels, tell him why I'm going to win. And Shawn walked out and said, you can't win to Triple H. And Triple H got this look of,
holy crap balls.
Holy crap balls. But again, we all know Undertaker's record, 18-0. Triple H is shooting 500 at WrestleMania. But they've been in some of the greatest matches in WrestleMania history, too.
He's also been in some of the worst. I mean, he did debut against the Warrior.
I don't count that because the Warrior doesn't exist in my mind like Benoit.
But you know what?
I know. But yes, he jobbed in the minute 28 to the Warrior, but that was before he became the Triple H we all know and either love or despise.
But he also freaking... He fought Goldust the next year.
And he whooped his ass.
I love Goldust, but I mean, he went... Granted, to step up from the Warrior to Goldust, but he didn't even start to peak until the next year when he fought Owen.
Right, and he won that match.
And then he just...
took off from there.
Even with losses, his clientele just grew.
Yep. The time thing I heard at WrestleMania 15 when he lost to Kane because of China's going back with him, we all thought, yay, DX is back together. And Triple H is like, nah, bitches.
Yeah, I fell into the swerve too.
It's my time.
Everybody did.
So I'm going with The Undertaker though.
I think you've got to go with the dead man. It's rumored that it's in his contract that he can't lose at an event. It's called WrestleMania.
Actually, I kind of see an epic DX Screwjob finish?
I don't know. You know,
Okay.
anything like we said earlier, anything's possible in the WWE. But
I think except killing the streak. I think it's the only thing that's impossible. This is my opinion.
Yeah. Jerry Lawler, Michael Cole with Jack Swagger in his corner, and Stone Cold Steve Austin, as the special referee.
I say a stunner to Michael Cole, and when he's bent over holding his little tummy, his precious little announcer tummy, he gets a pile driver from hell, and he turns to dust and is never heard from again. And then JR comes back the next night.
I agree.
All right on. There we go. In agreement?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right, cool.
I despise Michael Cole with a passion. He has to lose this match. I hope Jim Ross comes back before Monday night. I hope they trot him out
on Sunday, right?
To call the match, because I mean, let's be honest, who's going to be at the announcer booth?
Right.
That would be
Booker
a
T.
vintage WrestleMania call.
Booker T, sucker.
Booker T, Michael Cole, I'm not going to do it again.
No, that would be fail.
Especially
Let's let Aaron say it.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Aaron.
Michael Cole, we're coming for you, nigga.
All right, here we go.
Randy Orton and CM Punk.
This match actually has gotten my attention with each passing week. It really has.
In my opinion, this has all the potential for match of the night.
It does. It really does.
CM Punk has stolen the show at the last 4 WrestleManias. I don't care what anybody says. It's yes, the last 2 had Shawn Taker. Those matches were okay. I think CM Punk stole the show every time, proving to the people in the back why he needs to be your straight edge savior and champion.
But I think they've backed Orton to a corner with the knee injury and everything like that. And what happens to a snake when he's backed into a corner?
He strikes
with pure venom. And I think that's gonna happen Sunday.
I got a feeling it will too, because I mean, Orton was looking way too strong up until the last couple of weeks, and then CM Punk just started dominating.
Which leads me to believe that the heel dominating the last 2 weeks is going to have the babyface win. Then you've got Mysterio and Cody Rhodes.
Anyway, moving on.
Bathroom match.
You know what? I disagree with both y'all. I think it's been built very, very well. I think Cody's turn to psychoses has been, not the worker, has been built very well. I think that these guys are also going to steal the show, along with Orton and Punk, because, Mysterio's out there each and every week.
I was going to say, are you actually saying positive words about Rey Mysterio?
I actually am. You know what? Well, like I've said all along,
Somebody check his forehead.
Right, I've kind of...
Saturday, April 2nd, 2011, Jeff Meacham says kind words about Rey Mysterio.
It's true. It wasn't even on my own show. It was the joint show.
Yeah.
Joint.
You are the LVC.
There you go.
Did you see Snoop Dogg before he started filming?
I didn't. Well, I was here, LB Long Beach Clothing Company, 4218. Is that right about? Atlantic Avenue. 4218 Atlantic Avenue.
Okay.
We're getting the 2 minute. We're getting a warning here.
And we still got a couple more matches to go.
Okay. The Snooki match. Snooki's gonna win.
Bathroom match.
Yeah.
Every
bathroom match.
Every single celebrity in WrestleMania history that has had a match has won their match. Stat Boy pointed that out to us. Yes. The LB kid got to make that out.
Lawrence Taylor. Yeah. The only thing it didn't win is Butterbean won his match.
Akibono.
The only person that didn't win was the NFL players, because Andre always wins battle royals.
Yeah.
That's the only difference. Yeah, and Butterbean sent Gunn's head about 3 different ways, and then you've got 14.
Something like that. But I don't really consider this one the bathroom match for me, because Trish Stratus is back at WrestleMania.
This is true.
This is something that's not to be taken lightly. You've got John Morrison, you've got Trish Stratus, and you've got Dolph Ziggler.
Okay.
I could care less about Snooki and Lay Cool.
Okay, we're getting a 1 minute warning from our...
Last but not least, the core versus the clusterfuck.
Yeah.
Show Kane, Santino, and Kozlov. The core needs to dominate.
Yeah, I agree.
I agree, absolutely.
I agree. I mean, you just got 4 people just thrown together just to go...
And 2 of them are freaking Santino and Kozlov. I mean, seriously.
You're getting
Cobra
WrestleMania
versus
moment.
Wasteland.
Yeah, seriously. All right. That's our WrestleMania picks. What do you guys think out there in YouTube
Let us
land?
know. Don't forget to subscribe.
Please.
YouTube.com/user.
You've got less than 24 hours to get our number to 300. If you don't, we will find you all.
AAustin74 on Twitter.
All right. TWHD
host
on Twitter.
ROWJJ Williams on Twitter. And we will see you guys next week with Post-Mania Thoughts.
LBC!
And now, preview time. So let's take a look at what's coming your way.
The Casa D18 Studios, an affiliate of the Jeff Meacham Network, Multiverse of Media, proudly presents this retro content from NoDQ.com.
Your ass is grass, and no DQ&A is gonna smoke it. That one's for Sean Waltman, who, for the record, has been the only person that I've allowed to smoke in my car. True story. Anyways, welcome to No DQ&A video here on NoDQ.com. Let's get right down to your questions via FormSpring. Hey Aaron, do you give full credit to The Rock for the pay-per-view buy rates of WrestleMania? No doubt about it. The Rock definitely played a big role in WWE and WrestleMania this year. The pay-per-view buy rate, 1 million. If he wasn't around, maybe it would have done 800,000. But you look at the ratings, you look at the buzz WWE got, The Rock absolutely made a difference this year for sure. Hey Aaron, do you think The Miz will be a good babyface? Absolutely. The Miz has just been on a roll the past year and a half. And if you go to the arenas, you know, going back to 2010 at SummerSlam, when he came out, he just had the crowd in the palm of his hand. The people were going nuts for him. Same thing at Money in the Bank. When he came out, he was running down to the ring. Everyone was on their feet, hoping he would cash in the Money in the Bank. He's already a babyface in the eyes of most of the fans. So I think it's just a matter of time before he goes full-fledged face. For now, he's doing a thing with R-Truth, which I think is great, so I don't mind him staying a heel for the time being, but definitely down the line, maybe next year, they can pull the trigger on him as a babyface. It would be pretty damn awesome. What are your thoughts on the goodbye video posted by Matt Hardy? Well, I posted my initial reaction last night. I was really upset. I was worried about him. But then, of course, it turned out to be a joke, which is good because he's still alive, but it's bad because he's just gone beyond the deep end. He has done the boy that cried wolf. Nobody knows what to think anymore. I said on a recent video that he should really consider getting off the internet for good. If he really cared about turning his life around, he would get offline and try to fix himself. But the more he keeps doing videos like the ones he's doing, he just did a rebirth video. He's just going to keep digging himself into a deeper hole. It's just really sad. And hopefully he'll get the help that he needs, because if he keeps going, his career is going to be over. At least in terms of WWE and TNA. I'm sure there will always be independent promoters out there that are going to want to capitalize on the whole Matt Hardy controversy and continue to enable him, but that's just the way it is. As far as the mainstream goes, this could be it for Matt Hardy for a very long time. Okay. Why give Daniel Bryan the Money in the Bank briefcase only to have him lose it in every match subsequently? Is this just bad booking? I said this before. WWE has always done this. They've always booked the Money in the Bank winner to lose on a series of matches, and in just about every case, the guy loses a ton of matches and then cashes it in. So, as I said in the previous edition of No DQ&A video, this is probably good for Daniel Bryan fans. This most likely means he's going to win the title at some point. I know it's weird booking, have him lose a ton of times and then win the title, but that's just how WWE operates. And yeah, I mean, it's a good sign for him getting the title. Hey Aaron, do you think Petey Williams will ever return to TNA? I have no idea. One would think if he was going to return, he would have been back at the, what was it, the Destination X pay-per-view a couple months ago when they brought back some of the old X Division guys. So yeah, I have no idea. He really got a bad deal from TNA. His finisher, the Canadian Destroyer, I think like 5 or 6 years in a row was voted in the NoDQ.com Year-End Awards as Finisher of the Year. TNA could have really capitalized on Petey Williams, and they failed to do so. It's just another guy that TNA dropped the ball with, in my opinion. Hey Aaron, after Christian lost to Randy Orton in the steel cage match on Super SmackDown, do you think that the feud is over, or will Christian get another shot? Personally, I think that Christian has come out on top for the feud to be worth the time. I think it's done at this point. It's pretty obvious now with Mark Henry getting into the mix that the Randy Orton Christian feud is finally over. And I mean, how many matches can they do? They've done pretty much every type of match. I guess they could always go back to Hell in a Cell. You know, Randy Orton could defeat Mark Henry at Night of Champions, and then Christian comes back and says, "I want one more match," and then they can do a final blow off Hell in a Cell. I mean, I guess that's always possible, and it doesn't really make a difference one way or another. I mean, the match will be great, and those matches aren't selling the pay-per-views anyway, so why not? I'm fine with Hell in a Cell. At least the Hell in a Cell would actually mean something as like a blow-off type match, which is what it was originally intended to be, you know, blow off a feud. So I'm all for it. Hey Aaron, what do you think is going to happen with Otunga and McGillicuddy from now on? Personally, I'd love to see McGillicuddy get a push on his own. I think there's some talent there. Yeah, I really like McGillicuddy, but I like to call him Joe Henning, and I'm just hoping that WWE will drop the name, repackage him as Joe Henning. I think he's got a lot of potential. As far as Otunga, not so much. Everyone knows why he has a job with WWE. It's because of who he's married to, you know, bottom line. Jinder Mahal has been pretty impressive so far. Do you think he has what it takes to be World Heavyweight Champion? If he does or does not, explain why. Well, I think it's too soon to tell. He's only been with WWE for what, 6 months now? From what I've seen in terms of his in-ring work and promo skills, you know, he's just average. I have no idea if he's going to end up being a world champion someday, but right now I would lean towards saying no. But anything can happen. You know, sometimes you just don't see it in that guy right away, and it takes a while for him to really develop his character and persona. So we'll see what happens with Jinder Mahal. Maybe. Never know. Alright, that about does it for No DQ&A video here on NoDQ.com. You can submit your questions to formspring.me/AaronRift. And leave a comment on the YouTube channel, youtube.com/NoDQCAW. Let me know what you think about the show, what you think about my answers. Do you agree? Do you disagree? And we'll see you next time. Oh, and make sure you subscribe, youtube.com/NoDQCAW. See you next time for No DQ&A video.